Boom! We are back. Welcome to the Culture Crusade. How is everyone? Hey, John, good to see you. Hey, Mike, good to see you. And, we got some, look. Oh, hang on. I'm getting feedback because I didn't mute the other thing. There, now I'm back to normal. Well, no, I'm back to normal. That's a funny statement about me because I'm not normal. I'm a retard. We were actually having an interesting discussion before beginning, and I reckon it might be worth just kind of rounding off that discussion. Twitter, X, interesting platform. And Mike, you were saying that you're thinking that the reason for it's just to cause people to fight. Is that like that's what you were saying?
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get back to my StreamYard. My computer's being real weird, but you can hear me?
Yeah, Mike's hands are frozen.
Am I? Yeah, see?
Yeah.
What the heck? Why am I locked up like this? I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, my Twitter experience, I think, is because I interact and I like to argue with people.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Everything my Twitter feed is showing me, because I'm a Protestant evangelical, and so apparently because there's this huge freaking thing going on with Trump and the Pope. And it's getting a lot of interaction between people.
One more thing about that,
yeah. Twitter has decided to just show me Catholics bashing Protestants. Mm-hmm. And then I was asking somebody about that, and she responded, "All I see is," she was a Catholic, and she said, "All I see is Protestants bashing Catholics," and I'm like, "This is a horrible algorithm that's just designed to pit people against each other."
See, I don't know. It's what you interact with. And Mike, you just admitted that you've been interacting a lot with these, fights and stuff. And
right, because they bait you. It's like if they know that you're going to disagree with a thing, well, they show you all these people disagreeing with a thing. It's like,
now look. I say this as someone who sometimes goes out of his way to fight with people on Twitter X, but not all the time. Twitter seems to be the type of platform that very much, when I say very much, it adapts very quickly to your recent interactions. And whatever you interacted with recently, it kind of then just really pushes that for maybe half a day. And if you don't interact with what it continues to push you, I found, it then autocorrects. But if you continue to interact with it, it snowballs. And then that can just consume your feed. Because I've noticed a couple of people say that, we covered it here on Night's Watch about how Japanese Twitter seemed to be unleashed, and it's been really fun interacting and stuff. And then people have been saying recently that they all just suddenly disappeared. Not for me. I'm still seeing Japanese people interact with some of my tweets, and I'm seeing their stuff on my feed more. Probably not in the huge explosion that we had, but they're still there. And I think it's because I do actually pause and interact with them a lot. I like to see a lot of Japanese sword content because I got thoughts. I got thoughts on sword content from Japan specifically.
I don't know. You strike me as a bit of a sword normie, Shad. I mean, you've only got 8 behind you.
All right.
Pump those numbers up. That's rookie numbers.
Some of it is really, really good. Other stuff is fake as anything. And I know, look, I'm 95% sure that some of this sword stuff they're posting, they are using aluminium swords that are more than half the weight of a regular sword. Because the way they move it around in their wrist and the lack of inertia in them is like, that is a super light fake sword. And they're posting it like they're, like masters and doing these impressive things. And so what I did, I've gone online and I found a couple of companies that sell these aluminium katanas, and I've bought some. And I'm like, I'm going to have some fun with these. I'm going to make some videos and expose it. But I get, look, that's Shadiversity kind of content. It's going to be fun. But that's one of the reasons why I'm still seeing Japanese stuff on my feed. And they've been liking my sword stuff quite a lot. I'm like, Japan, I understand. We like swords together. We're going to enjoy swords together. What's been your experience, John, with X at the moment? What's kind of your view on the platform?
Well, I had a Forbes article written about Orc City, if you remember that when that went down. Yeah. That was fun. My experience has been being able to occasionally say something that is incisive enough to pop off and actually go. I've gone viral several times.
Yeah, I've seen.
It's always been unintentional. I resent the people, and some even in my own circles, who have kind of said, or even vague posted, I saw what you posted. Vague posted that I like rage baiting, that I like, it's conflict marketing. And I'm just, it's not, guys. It really is just a combination of innocuous shower thoughts, whatever comes into my head. Sometimes I get involved in an argument. Sometimes I roll intentionally into a contentious argument because I've got a contentious opinion about it. And it ends up rubbing a lot of people the wrong way in different ways. So I've said it before. I don't know exactly what I'm doing that makes my Twitter work the way it does. It just does. So I keep doing it.
See,
it's one of the things where if I know if it's like if I try comedy, the harder I try comedy, the less funny I get. And the harder I would try and get big on, or, have something go solid on Twitter, the less it would get seen. It's always going to be something you've authored on the toilet that's going to pop off and get, over 1 million views for something.
See,
I can't explain why it is, but that's
I've had I've had posts that I've like, oh, it has the chance to, explode, and they don't. But then I've had posts where I've been quite confident that, all right, if this catches on, this could do really well. And a recent one was during the whole Japanese flooding kind of ex-Twitter, and I saw some sword content that was getting a lot of traction from Japanese posts. I'm like, all right, I could have I've sword content. I could have a hand in that. And so I posted this little clip of me doing some sword stuff. This one is my back scabbard. Just showing, I made a back scabbard. You draw it from the back. And this one caught on and did really well. 1.8 million Twitter views. I'm calling them Twitter views because they're like impressions, but they're not. Okay. So the difference between a Twitter view and an impression. So an impression on YouTube is just seeing the thumbnail and nothing else. And that's an impression. And if people click on it and watch it, then that's a view. For Twitter, it's seeing it on your feed. And so seeing something on your feed means they do see it, but it doesn't mean that they don't necessarily interact with it. They might not click on it, but they still could stay for a few seconds to even a minute reading it or watching the clip. And so a Twitter view can still be a full view, more of a view than what YouTube is, even without them clicking on it. And so they can be more than impressions, yet they could just be, oh, they see it and scroll past it and don't interact with it at all. And so it's like this weird flux in between thing, what a Twitter view is versus what a YouTube view is. And I do think they're a bit more than impressions as a result. But yeah, so this one, and look, people could have watched as much as this and then just kept scrolling past, but 1.8 million.
And it's a little deceptive. I mentioned this before we started the stream, guys. When I was live streaming on my old channel, get the view counter that pops up, how many people are watching live. I was doing one of my morning coffee streams, and all of a sudden the view count shot up into the hundreds, which was pretty unusual for me. It was going up as if everybody in the world all of a sudden was joining. And I was frantically like trying to figure out where in the world is this view count coming from. It's like 350, 400, 500 views. But what in the world? And come to find out, I figured out later that it was counting the views on Twitter because I had started streaming on Twitter. And when people would just scroll by and see, it would count as a view to the StreamYard counter, which it was a little deceptive. Because all they had to do was see it. All they had to do was scroll by it. And if you have autoplay on and it played for like a second, you got it. That was a view. So I wish I got paid in that kind of amount. But
for people who don't use StreamYard, when you're watching your live view count, it's like on YouTube or Facebook, your live view is like how many people are watching you right now at this moment. But the Twitter view count, it just adds up.
Yes, how many people have seen it on the feed.
Yeah.
It goes up and does not go back down.
because we've just started the stream, we don't have a lot of viewers that have come in yet. But StreamYard is reporting 200 viewers, where no, YouTube back end is reporting 87 viewers, and it's because now 92. But we've only just started, and people are still arriving, and it's counting just every single glance, because I'm also streaming this on X Twitter, and it's counting that as well in StreamYard. So it's this weird thing that it's not necessarily like real views, but they're not necessarily just pure no regard impressions. But the thing is, though, what Twitter X does have at the moment, and is really good, it has potential for organic discoverability and organic reach. And that's the type of thing that YouTube is just decimating. That is not there like really anymore. You're completely at the whim of the algorithm and its recommendations, where on Twitter, it is mostly driven by people interacting, viewing, and retweeting. And there is something really significant about that, which enables organic reach still, which to me, like, that makes X Twitter have such potential as a platform still. And I'm a little frustrated because its video watching capacity right now still sucks. And it has potential. Like, this is a little, what is it? It's a 1 minute clip, right? That is reporting 1.8 million Twitter views. And that's if that was real views, that would be phenomenal. But we can actually get a much closer indication of what the views are by the likes, because the likes really show how many people have actually interacted with it. And so this is 10,000 likes. Now, the ratio that usually is pretty darn consistent on YouTube is 1 to 10. 1 like usually reflects 10 views, and for every 10 views you get a like. And so if you have 100 likes, that usually means you have 1,000 views. And I have multiple channels, and I've watched, and it's generally very consistently that across the board on most of my channels. And so if that ratio extends more broadly, these 100 likes very likely constitute 100,000 full views of this clip. And that's good. 100,000 views. I'm fully there for. That's great. Yeah, and if I could post my content to have some of my video content get 100,000 proper views, and then heaps of impressions and other interactions, stuff like that, that's a viable platform. The problem is the video viewing, side of X Twitter sucks still. What Twitter really needs is to have every single profile have a video tab and have their video content presented there, just like on YouTube or other platforms, that people can easily find content that you've uploaded previously. And then they might have something there, because with that, I really think Twitter has potential, but it's not meeting it just as of yet. But then, look, I'm not saying there aren't.
And that may change somewhat. I don't know if you saw the news over the weekend.
Yes,
that
I have.
They are changing the algorithm somewhat, or so they claim.
Well, before we pivot to that, I have that bookmarked. But I'll just round off on the comment about, like, Twitter can be super toxic, okay? And it can become a feedback loop, because like negativity causes people to react and respond. And then if you start interacting with all the negative posts, you'll get more of it and more and more and more. And that's kind of the danger of social media generally, I think. But Twitter, it's amplified a lot because it adapts directly to what you're saying, what you're interacting with. And your feed can just turn into an absolute dumpster fire of...
True. Now, Hyperbian Struggle in the chat makes a good point. Twitter mostly used for news and politics. Now, you want to talk about toxic?
Really useful for news.
The politics replies on any news or political posts are an absolute... That will definitely have you saying stuff that will get you kicked off the platform. But I will say this about Twitter. News spreads on Twitter faster than a sexually transmitted virus at Coachella, okay? And it's almost like at warp speed. I have seen stuff that happened minutes after it actually happened, because it started popping up when they tried to Minecraft Trump. I saw that 3 minutes after it happened, before any major news outlet had a single article out.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk, Twitter's ability to aggregate news fast is actually phenomenal. I've been updated on really important events a full day before it even started to drop on YouTube, and so I think there's value on Twitter, and it can be positive if you only focus on interacting with positive things. Like when I was seeing all the Japanese content being boosted and interacted with, and then the cultural appreciation. It was yes, I loved it. That was great.
I do still see a few of my Japanese friends that post a lot. Mostly the ones that are posting anti-communist stuff, which that's just after my own heart. Thank you so much, guys. That was a lot of fun, and I was enjoying that immensely. And when it started to die off a little, I actually have a tweet that kind of I'm sending to you in the private chat a tweet that I wanted to kind of present as a little bit. If you guys are kind of wondering what it's like if you get like a payout from X, I'll give you an idea. Full disclosure, okay. Just full disclosure, I usually make around $90 to $100 every 2 weeks. Okay. I don't consider Twitter a job. Okay. I don't consider it a major source of income. Stuff that comes from my creative endeavors, like the book sales, the YouTube ad revenue when I had the channel, and the Twitter, all that went into an account that I could, put towards stuff that pays for my books. So, the cover fees, the editor's fees, stuff like that. So, the one that I had that popped off in the middle of the Japanese Brofest got 8.7 million views. This is just me joking in the morning because I thought that the algorithm had stopped showing the stuff to me. Turns out they were just asleep. And all of Japan was eager to tell me this if you scroll the replies. But you can see right there it says 8.7 million views.
8.7, yeah. That is crazy reach right there. Now, what I find interesting, always the top comment replies, right, are people that I follow as well. So Quarter Black Carrot is there. But look, there's a Japanese account, another Japanese account. I was wondering what happened to stuff. Japanese.
Is it not auto translating anymore?
Some do, some don't. And then I can click translate.
Okay. But if you want to know what the difference is, what that added, that and a couple of others that went over 100,000 views kind of bumped me up to like $148 this past Friday. So,
did you see John Delarose got shared by Elon and it got like 38
I did
million
see that.
views.
Oh, he was tickled pink.
Yeah, he would have been happy about that one. So all right. Twitter, interesting. It has such potential. I would like to see video content be given some more love, but there has been problems with people spamming stuff to try and get that monetization, and then we see trash posts. And so they've made a change recently, which is interesting. I think this is the one you were talking about there, John, where they say, for this creator payout cycle, we're experimenting with new tools to identify original authors of content and allocated a portion of revenue to them. Over the last few months, we've seen incredible work from original creators on X, Nick Shirley uncovering $1 billion of fraud. And again, that's like the type of news that breaks really, really quickly. And then they talk about, people. So Will Menidis earned acclaim for his insightful articles on technology and AI. Reposts and commentary will always be core pillar of X, but our revenue sharing program should incentivize original, high-quality content that brings new value to the timeline. This means retweeting the efforts it takes to produce something, not just the poster who helped it travel furthest. That's interesting, because one of the problems on X Twitter is people just kind of stealing content and just reposting it and saying, wow, have you seen this? And what can happen is the people who just repost stuff can get crazy views, right?
In comparison to the person that originally posted it. Yeah. And that's going to devastate some certain accounts.
Yeah.
But now they say they're doing this, but I've seen some kind of evidence. Say again?
Are we not naming those accounts?
I don't care. Dom Lucre, he was one that got demonetized because he spammed the hell out of a lot of stuff. I didn't really pay attention to him and hadn't for a long time. But I have seen some evidence that like it's people posting original video stuff and does not get nearly the amount of views or traction.
Yeah.
So
you know, that happens.
They're saying this, but the evidence that I'm seeing kind of doesn't really support it all that much.
Well, it's happened to some of the content that I've posted. Like during the Acolyte, I did a full fight scene breakdown of the lightsaber fights, and it was atrocious. And then I did a much tighter, cut version that I posted on X, Twitter, that got several million views. It took off, right? But large accounts actually took that video and reposted it as well. And I think Wall Street Apes was one of them, or someone. It was a very large account though that did it. And look, I think they gave me credit, but still, it looked like they had just lifted the video and reposted it. So it happens, right? And if this system then is incentivized to reward the original author, it's like, okay, that might actually be a pretty good change. We'll see. I think Twitter is a very evolving platform, and it is evolving very fast. So I don't know. I would like to see its video content be fixed a bit and that improved. And if this is one of those things that will avoid a lot of their slop spamming, that could also be a good change as well. Did you have any other thoughts on that, John?
I mean, I'm gonna all I could say is I don't do Twitter for money. I do it for the love of the game. It's the one platform where my stuff kind of gets a lot more reach than any other platform. So I'm gonna stick with it. I haven't seen it. There's been a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people declare doomsday for Twitter. It's over. Every update, they say Elon's ruined the whole platform. They're leaving for greener pastures over on Blue Sky.
How's that going?
In the world of no sales and no engagement.
Yep.
I would like to see some improvements for some things. It wouldn't bother me. But I'm not tech savvy enough to be able to say what those are. There are some accounts I would like to see that them being taken down would definitely make the experience on Twitter a lot better. Krasenstein's, excuse me. But other than that, it's always a wait and see game with me.
And that's exactly it. I just hope, because Twitter has potential to be a viable competitor to YouTube. And there needs to be one. It needs to be a proper one.
Well, Rumble sure ain't doing it, unfortunately. Believe me.
Yes, exactly.
I
Rumble,
wish they would.
Same.
I want Rumble to be at least somewhere around where 2015 YouTube was. But unfortunately, their discoverability algorithm is Garbo. And they definitely favor some accounts over others.
Yeah. You know what would be a really fascinating feature on both Rumble and YouTube, but I don't think they'd have the balls to do it. If they had essentially a retweet feature, right? That if I see a video that I really loved, and perhaps if they limited that, you'd only get maybe one a week or something like that. But if I see a video that I really, really loved, and I could essentially retweet it, that then, it was like I published it on my channel, but I won't get any of the monetization or anything like that. But it sends out the same recommendations that YouTube should be sending to my subscribers, but YouTube doesn't send the recommendations to subscribers anymore because subscribers don't mean anything, and it's only based on what people have been recently watching, and so that doesn't really work. But if it did, that could really be an awesome feature where you could have reboosted and then people's content could continue to get, viewed and stuff like that. But YouTube doesn't seem to want people to watch old content now. It buries old content, backlog content. And I can say this because I've over 10 years of backlog content that used to get watched friggin' heaps and consistently. And not only that, right? One of those old videos I recently reposted, well, not recently, but we reposted in one of my translation videos, my translated YouTube channels, and I got over 100,000 views. And this is an old video. And it shows you that old content can still be just as appealing and watchable now as in the past. All right. But YouTube is not recommending it all. It's all essentially dead content now.
Shad, I have to push back on that just a little bit. In my scrolling through YouTube, I have come across older videos that get pushed in front from channels that I've been following for years, which
How
kind of struck
often,
me as
though?
bad. Not terribly often, but it happens often enough that I notice, like, I'll scroll through and I'll see a rant from Razor Fist from 5 years ago, something like that. But maybe it's the most watched stuff that that it starts doing. I don't know.
To confirm what you're saying, I do get a recommendation of an old video maybe once a day or something like that. Like, it's a fraction of what it used to be, and my back-end analytics really show this. YouTube used to continually push content that was, evergreen, but not anymore.
What bugs me about YouTube, YouTube's algorithm, or as it is right now, is it will, if I haven't watched a channel in a couple weeks, maybe, like, it'll start burying those videos completely. Like, it'll start burying that channel completely. And I have to remember, I follow this channel. I need to go watch their videos. And it's like, I have to work to train my algorithm to give me these videos from these channels that I've been following forever. Even if I have the notifications put on notify all, I have to watch them that often. I have to watch their live streams of the people that I like often enough that YouTube's algorithm says, hey, we finally figured out you want to watch this channel when they're live. Here's the notifications that they're live. And even then, I'll get channels that'll go live or video, and I'm like, they had a channel out a video out 2 weeks ago, and I didn't even know about it. But I have to go back to their channel and find out. It's a little aggravating, and it didn't used to be this way.
Can you try unsubscribing and resubscribing?
I don't think that does much nowadays. Subscriptions mean nothing. It's what you've recently been watching, and then it doubles down, triples down on that feed specifically. And so
it's a lot like Twitter in that way. The more you watch or engage with someone's channel, specifically, not just watching, you hit the like and subscribe button, hit the new hype button, hit the leave a comment.
This is interesting. We're actually touched on something interesting, that the stuff that you are interacting with because it kind of baits you in is not necessarily the stuff that you want to watch a lot of, but the algorithms will push it regardless. Because Mike has already mentioned that, and it feels like Twitter is just made to cause people to argue, and it's an argument machine and stuff like that. We're talking about that. We wish, these recommendations could be a lot more wholesome and uplifting, but it's interesting how we are molding the algorithm based on what we, are getting baited and drawn into watching. And I think that's why YouTube has become such a slot machine, because it just pushes people what naturally latches onto them and baits them, and then it pushes and pushes that, where once upon a time it used to be more curated by what you told it you wanted to watch based on your subscriptions. Now it cares very little about that. That's an interesting observation for me right there. But let's pivot then to one of the other main topics. Before we do, we got a super chat that I got to highlight, because this one, I love to see. So Jess 00456 $5 says, "Hey Shad, just finished your book, loved it. Hell yes, thank you very much, appreciate." It says, "If you want an anime that reminds me of it, watch the beginning after the end. Can't wait for the next one." I know the beginning after the end. I'm familiar with it. And it is, it's a really interesting concept where basically the former emperor gets Isekai, reincarnated into a fantasy world. Look, I'm a bit of a sucker for Isekai now. I really like it. I like a lot of it. Though I think, was there another one? Okay, so Mashoko Tensei, he wasn't an emperor that got reincarnated. That's like the big difference with the beginning after the end. But yeah, 100%. Thank you very much. Glad you liked the book. All right. Gentlemen. So we know Black Snape. Okay, that's a thing. It's right. It's been funny. They've been memed on. Well, do you know also that the Harry Potter trailer has recently now achieved the official status of being ratioed, as Nerdrotic reports right here.
Oh no, bro.
Yep. It's like Black Snape is officially ratioed. If we have a look here, this is with the down votes extension, I believe, which means it's probably higher than what's being reported. But 268,000 likes, 269,000 dislikes, and this was reported several days ago, and so it might be even more. And it's like, who could have seen? Well, actually, some people didn't see this coming. And I think that's why they felt, they could get away with it. That the Harry Potter fandom is so big that they will just accept whatever they want to do with it, as long as they kind of keep the skin suit somewhat similar to the franchise. And then they, cast Snape as, being black. And it turns out that no, hardcore fans of a franchise, they want it to look like what they liked about the story. They want it to look like the story that they loved. And they get annoyed when pointless changes are made, especially if it has significant effects on the story, which changing Snape into a black character definitely does. It makes Harry look racist for suspecting Snape automatically out of the gate. And it makes his dad look bad, and Harry Potter's dad and his group of friends, the friends of his dad, because they lynch Snape, and so many other things. It's a horrible choice across the board, and people are rejecting it. At this point, right? This, as well as all other, I'm seeing more tick boxes, excuse me, with this new Harry Potter reboot, that it's making it look worse and worse. And there's a big problem with this Harry Potter reboot. Could you guys guess what this problem is? Apart from Black Snape?
Totally.
How much time you got?
Well, exactly how much time you got. It is going to be constant at every single level compared to the movies. The movies are just there as a unavoidable point of comparison to be judged against. And already this new reboot, this show, is failing on so many levels in the comparison. Right out of the gate, the casting of the characters in the original films is better. So much better than the casting of this reboot. How can this Black Snape possibly compete with the Snape of the movies? What's the actor's name?
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. What a legend.
Really, how can you compete with Alan Rickman? That is something you're going to lose at any point in time. You know what they really could have done that would have been a really nice little nod? What if they had gotten Ralph Fiennes, who played Voldemort in the original, as Snape? That would have been a nice little. They actually could have had a little connective thread between the movies and the show at that point. I wouldn't mind it, and he's a damn good actor who is definitely in Alan Rickman's league. But they definitely wanted to do this to make a point.
Just a point of correction. His name is Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes. Sorry. I see the last name. I don't always know how to pronounce them.
So I just want to acknowledge this comment. They are reporting that the like to dislike ratio is even greater now. Chat is reporting 314,000 dislikes now. Wow. That's a big ratio. And the fans are voicing their displeasure with it, rightly so. I'm seeing some similarities with the fan reaction to this as that was with Rings of Power. Not to the same level. The cast isn't making all these, horrible woke DEI kind of declarations and stuff, but I'm seeing some pushback, some backlash. And the fact, again, that we can compare, that there are other points of comparison to the movies that make the movies look better than this reboot now. And another one, just the lighting. The lighting of this trailer looks terrible. I can barely see a thing from the trailers. And it's yeah, I get it. They want, Hogwarts to look like it's lit by candlelight and stuff like that. I mean, you can still make it watchable. People, there was a great comment to Peter Jackson about the Battle of Helm's Deep, right? And the question was, hang on, Peter, director man, where does the light come from in the Battle of Helm's Deep? Because everything is really well lit. You can see everything clearly, right? And Aragorn and everything is supposed to be done at night. And you know what Peter Jackson's reply was? He said, the light comes from the same place as the music does. That is brilliant. I genuinely love that answer.
What's funny about that is also dude, in A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, in Lionel Baratheon's tent, that was all candlelight.
Yeah, but they made it visible.
There was no false lighting in there. It was all lit by candlelight.
And I thought this age of digital film was one of the big advantages, is that you would be able to like add lights where there were none, things like that. You could just
shoot in low light. Digital film is you can do things you can't do. You'd have to use super low grain. You know, in the old days, you have to use super, low grain to get the kind of exposure for low lighting settings. But nowadays, digital, you can take pictures out at night in the dark and still see what's on your phone. It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah. So
it's the Battle of Winterfell all over again.
Yeah, well, this is not making the show look good. And then other things are some pretty big red flags. We'll get to what they might be wanting to do with Voldemort in a second. But a chat comment mentioned something that I think is quite significant. It says, well, for me, when the actor which is cast play victim instead of addressing the audience concerns, that tells me it's bound to fail. And so they are already front loading the racist backlash to the actor being cast as Black Snape. And what did you expect? You did this on purpose, and now it seems like they're using it as a means to deflect legitimate criticism from the show. It looks like they're already trying to use it as a type of shield to avoid criticism. And that right there is a big red flag for me. Hey, Lit Dev, we're talking about Black Snape and Harry Potter. How are you, mate?
Speaking of red flags, I have finally arrived.
You're finally right. That's not a red flag, mate. What's a flag for? An ally joining the fray. That's what it is. Gondor.
I'm not really sure, but the immediate image that flashed in my mind was the American flag. So
yeah, Gondor calls for aid, and Rohan will answer.
Will you respond?
That's what comes to my mind when I see Lich Dev on the horizon. So,
well, thank you very much.
With all the concerns, red flags, and stuff, have you seen the diversity that they are forcing into the students, especially like Slytherin? There was a picture of a whole lot of the Slytherin kids, and they're all very diverse. And it's like, this is supposed to be Britain in what, the 80s or 90s or something like that. This is like, but they're trying to make it look like modern day Britain, and it's
shouldn't they all be Muslims then?
There's a question, but it's clear that this show is actually being directed so much by DEI policies, and the execution looks poor. And on nearly every level, the movies just look better. And if the movies are better, there is no point to this series. What reason do I have to watch it? In fact,
there's so many things that they could have done other than redo the Harry Potter story again. There's so many other stories out there in the Harry Potter universe they could have explored. Did you know there's an American wizarding school canonically?
Right.
There's one set in America.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool, actually. The premise of it.
Was that in America?
Here's
the
problem.
Real quick, it does remind me of the Rings of Power versus the Lord of the Rings movies in terms of
yes, what we're seeing roll out. Right. This almost feels like this might be a Rings of Power 2.0.
Speaking of Rings of Power, or at least the comparison. Now that I know, I've been reading the books because of the full cast on Audible. Now I know her mind. Like I think J.K. Rowling became like a feminist later or something like that, because the books are not feminist at all. They're really well balanced, actually, and Hermione goes through like this activist phase that's just,
and people laugh at her. They're like, he's treated as almost a joke because it's pointless.
So I know definitively now that the movies made Hermione way more like feminist. They kind of they had a more feminist attitude towards Hermione when they made the movies, because they gave her like stuff that Ron should be saying. Yes. They gave her knowledge that Ron should have, and so if those movies were more feminist, what is this? Do Ron and Harry even need to be here?
Yeah, right.
And this is what kind
a reason to make this reboot, and that's to make one try to do even better than the movies and more accurate to the books. And one of the characters that really deserved a proper adaptation was Ron. I've read the first, like, I don't know, 4 Harry Potter books to 5, right? And oh my gosh, what they did to Ron in the movies was an abomination. They did that character so dirty.
They Finnized him. They turned him into like a joke. And the book's kind of a badass. Like in the book, George, was it Ron, George, and Fred are kind of badasses. Like they're kind of the friends you do want to have, because they will always have your back, like no matter what.
Ron is great in the books. He is such a straight shooter where he just says things as they are, and he sticks it to Hermione when she deserves it a lot, and is there to back up his mate. Ron is just a Chad, right? He's a really good character.
Badass, yeah.
And they gutted him. They emasculated him completely.
He's just an idiot in the movies.
Oh, it's sad, right? And so they could have really done something good with this adaptation, this TV series, where they have the time now to not cut everything. And you'll see they could have had everything. More details of the house elves early on, Peeves the poltergeist, and many of the plot elements. But instead, it looks like this is going to be far worse than the movies. And at this point, I'm like, I'm done with this show. I will still review it for the sake of, reporting, and I'm a reviewer. But as a fan, do not care about this. It's kind of dead to me. So much so where it's almost like a Rings of Power situation. You need to learn from your mistakes. And so I'm like, go ham, go to town. And we've seen like these things being entertained, and I'm like, do it, go do it. And what it is, female Voldemort. So
this is weird because first of all, they're making like all the bad guys black and diverse or whatever, because the Slytherin is now diverse. Snape, who is an ultra racist, actually is black now. He joins the wizarding KKK. Essentially.
Yes.
And by the way, he does not change his mind. He's only on Dumbledore's side because of what happens to Lily.
Yes.
Also, they're going to. So the way this have set up now is that the black guy obsesses over this white woman who he loses to. He loses the white woman to a white Chad. And then now we're going to have female Voldemort, where it's like, okay, so who's the most evil wizard in the wizarding world? Like the one who started the first and second wizarding war? Oh, it's a woman.
Yep. And so the actor that people, well, the actor that people are suggesting to play Voldemort is it Tilda Swinton? Is that her name? And so
Tilda
she
Swinton,
played.
She is kind of fun to watch.
I mean, she's a good actress.
I do like her a lot.
But that doesn't justify switching Voldemort into a woman, right? It's like, no, don't. Well, as a fan, don't. But as now someone who just wants to see this franchise or this attempt burn because of its DEI pandering, do it. Yes. Make Voldemort a woman.
The question is, would Voldemort still be a man just being played by a woman, or would they be changing Voldemort to a woman as well? Because let's be honest,
they would change Voldemort to a woman.
That I think is a disservice, because you cannot usurp the greatest female villain to ever grace any fictional media ever. And sorry, you can't beat Dolores Umbridge. Okay. You can't. That is the greatest female villain to ever grace him, because it's the kind of evil that we face every day. And I will never understand. Hold on, Shad. I will never understand how an entire generation of young girls saw and hated Dolores Umbridge and then turned around and decided to vote for women that were just like her.
Because that's what I was going to say. Dolores Umbridge, you know what? One of the reasons why she's such a great villain, she's distinctly feminine coded villain. The way that she wields her power by relying on institutional power backing her and things like that, and how vindictive and spiteful she is, it is actually distinctly female, stereotypical villainy that reflects her character really, really well. And that's why you don't want to change it, because Voldemort, where it's just pure brute force and power and dominating and stuff like that, that's male coded villainy. And so you don't want to change these stereotypical characters, but that's what people are trying to say. So it comes from, I think, these comments by the previous actor who played Voldemort. So Voldemort actor Ralph Fiennes advocates for gender swap of his character in the HBO Harry Potter series. He said that the Marvel and Narnia star would be fantastic. That's talking about Tilda Swinton, I believe.
I'm pretty sure he just wants to do that. So he's kind of old now, right? So I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to have this evil like swarm of Twitter freaks kind of like swarm him down, and he doesn't want articles saying Ray Fiennes is sexist, and he's like, yeah, do whatever.
Yeah,
do whatever. Leave me out of it. I already cashed my checks. Leave me alone.
But all right, do it. Go ahead and do it. It's
not like he wrote the character or anything. Like it's just it was a role he played.
I think go to town. I want to see Severus Black be completely race swapped as well, and I think they will, because when Black Snape now gets lynched, it's going to look really racist unless there's a diverse or black person amongst the boys that are doing it. And Sirius Black, perfect target.
I think the rule is like if you have black in your name, you have to be black, right?
Right. It seems like it. No joke. It seems like it.
What? Now, my God. Shad, listen, I'm going to predict it now. I'm going to predict they're either going to change that or cut it out completely. They're probably going to change it so where they don't have the whole hanging from the tree thing. But that got me to thinking, what we know about Hollywood now and what they don't like female characters to do, right? The unwritten rules that get passed around the writers' rooms, things like women can't have, they can't come into their power from a man, or they can't learn anything from a man. What is one thing that they despise more than anything? Having a female character rescued by a man. So that makes me wonder what's going to happen in that scene where Hermione is in the bathroom and the trolls attacks the bathroom, and Ron and Harry have to come in there and save her. Are they going to keep that as is? Or are they going to pull a Mario movie and have Ron in the bathroom and have Harry and Hermione go rescue him? Or I can see that happening.
100%. Or they have her supposedly in trouble. Ron and Harry come to help and save her, but then the person that does the killing final blow to defeat the troll will be Hermione. All right. Where that means they didn't really save her. She was able to save herself in the end. That I 100% them seeing them do that. And it's crap like that, right? Where they're so beholden to their, woke idol and check boxes that I can absolutely see them subverting so much of a good story to appease their woke idol and woke gods. And if that's the case, you get what you deserve. This show, because the other big red flag about this, we've seen time and time again, when creatives of a show are prioritizing agenda and ideology before storytelling, nearly all the time, as a result, the storytelling and writing sucks, with only a very few exemptions from that standard. And if this is what I'm seeing, I do not have high hopes for the quality of this show now. There is some things where it might not be as bad, because Rings of Power, they had to create dialogue from scratch, where in this they have a lot of the foundation of the books. And if they're trying to just adapt some of the books and copy the dialogue, it shouldn't be as big of a dumpster fire as Rings of Power as a result. Because holy crap, Rings of Power, man. Like the opening scene of Rings of Power. Do you know why a boat floats and a rock sinks? A boat looks up and the rock looks down. Most retarded.
What was that?
Legendary dialogue.
I was on a live stream with a bunch of indie authors, and I had some very prominent indie fantasy authors who were praising the show and was writing. I'm like, what are you talking about? You guys definitely should be able to tell this is bad dialogue. Some of you guys write great, and then it kind of hit me. I'm like, oh, it's a Matt Denneman situation. They're a Brandon Sanderson situation. They're playing. They don't want to be caught on a live stream calling something bad when it could bite them and their chances to maybe get into Hollywood later. But you're not going to get that with me, because I don't trust Hollywood.
It is bad.
Pretty much anything these days.
Yeah.
Even before that, it was like Galadriel.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think even before that, Galadriel was just she was showing off this magical pair boat she made, and Aaron was jealous of her, so they destroyed the boat, and it was like the lead kid was a boy, and then she goes and tackles the boy and beats him up, and that's why she gets in trouble. She's too awesome to be contained.
Oh my gosh! Yep, and
I can see them going full girl boss with Hermione, which is like in the books. You know, she was the one who was more intellectual than the rest of them, but she was also a bit of a know-it-all. Like she was a flawed character herself, and her flaw was that she was, she tried harder than everyone else, but didn't know how to get along with other people because she didn't grow up in the wizarding world. Remember, she was a mudblood, and her parents were not wizards, so she, was trying to compensate for that by trying to be a better wizard than the kids that kind of grew up with it. So it's an interesting balancing act that I think Rowling did perfect, but I can see them tilting it so far that it just ends up making her yet another Zendaya girl boss.
Yep.
Because we don't have enough of those.
And at this point, I'm done with it. Let it all burn to the ground. They get what they deserve, and we'll see how much of a dumpster fire this show is when it comes out.
Well, Shad, look, at least the memes are going to be glorious.
Oh, they're going to be great, aren't they?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. So Mike unfortunately had to leave, as he said. But check out his graphic novel Through the Crusade, which is Afar the Adora Bible, and it looks great. It is a kids book where it's all pictorial, no actual words, no reading needed, so kids can just absorb it, which goes through the entire story of Jesus Christ and the accounts of the gospel, and it's brilliant. So check out Mike like the Adora Bible, Afar at ripascend.com. Okay, gentlemen. Hey, did you guys know something? Because not many people know this, right? This is like unknown information, it seems like. Do you know there's been a new Star Wars TV show release?
Did that come out?
A new is it the Darth Maul one or
the Darth Maul one? Yes.
No, I knew that was being made. I didn't know it came out though.
Yeah. John, did you even hear of this? The Darth Maul series?
I didn't know it was already out, man. Are we still wringing blood from that stone?
Yep. It's dropped. It dropped like last week. And no one is talking about this.
I forgot all about it.
Holy crap. Star Wars is so dead as a brand.
Like, really, do we need more Darth Maul?
Killed, sorry.
Like, how many times do we have to bring back Darth Maul?
Yeah, he's died twice and come back to life each time. It's ridiculous. Like, death means nothing in this universe.
Yep.
He has died before.
And so, Fake Wizard reports there. I saw this just on the Disney Plus feed, and I just scrolled right past it. Like, who gives a crap about anything Disney Star Wars now? They have done such a profound and lasting job in killing off this franchise to the point where Darth Maul, one of the most beloved cool factor characters of Star Wars, gets his own show, and no one gives a crap. Well, Fake Wizard says,
too late.
It's way too late. So there is a new Star Wars show out with Darth Maul as the lead protagonist. Put a pin on lead protagonist, and I don't see anyone talking about it. Same, like, have you guys seen anyone on any Twitter mention it at all?
No,
I haven't seen
normally the Star Wars accounts that are still shilling for Star Wars are all over the moon about anything new dropping and trying to defend it to the high heavens. But man, I didn't even see that guy that watches trailers and cries when he sees them doing anything in that regard. He was crying over the Supergirl trailer.
I saw that. Yeah, gosh. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is, and as Fake Wizard says, this brand is so unbelievably dead. And then he says, I can't wait to find out if it is doing worse numbers than Starfleet Academy. It sounds like it's doing worse, but there is a follow-up to this, thing, because remember I said put a pin in him being the lead protagonist. Someone who has watched this in our sphere, that Star Wars girl, and you know what she says about it? Spoiler, he's not even the protagonist. And I'm like, of course.
Of the Darth Maul show?
in the Darth Maul show. You know who she says is the actual protagonist is this Padawan girl.
Of course,
survived Order 66. Of course, it's Disney. What would you expect otherwise?
I mean, that's not surprising considering no one can have sons.
Right.
Every single character that has a kid, it's always a daughter. No one can have a son.
And the sons are always killing the fathers.
Oh my gosh. Like, it's just so in line with Disney's pattern of behavior. They have not changed at all. As much as the higher ups might say, you know, in the Inside Out 2, we've got to make sure this character is unambiguously, you know, straight and stuff like that. For all the stuff they might do there, the activists are flooded throughout Disney. Disney has actually not changed in the larger scheme of things. And the protagonist in the Darth Maul show isn't even Darth Maul. It's a Padawan girl, of course. And it says, so she's there with her master and a cop who's a single dad because his wife left to join the Empire. Darth Maul is still the antagonist. Channels like me are covering it, but no one cares because just like because just like you put it, the brand is dead. Yeah.
You know what? I'm an Order 66 truther at this point. I don't think any Jedi actually died during Order 66. I think they all hid behind a rock very conveniently, and they've just been hiding this entire time. Because as someone pointed out in the chat, how many Jedi have survived now? How many? There was only supposed to be 2 Sith, and there's how many Sith and Sith acolytes and Sith Padawans and Inquisitors, and like how many people are in this conveyor belt of I get to be the next Dark Lord, and like it's just so egregious and out of control. They can't do anything right. They can't do anything. They just can't do anything right. I can't even add anything to this. What can we say about Star Wars that hasn't been said to death by now?
I mean, systematically,
did Darth Vader even killing Jedi during the Jedi Purge?
Right?
Yeah.
It's like they all got away.
I'm a truther now. The Jedi survived. The Empire just lied about it. We've got video games, we've got cartoon shows, we've got comic books and novels all showing all these Jedi that managed to survive Order 66.
Mm-hmm. Disney Star Wars has ruined so much of the canon and the characters. They've systematically gone through character after character to try and mine whatever popularity they could, from Obi-Wan to Darth Vader to the prequels to the sequels, everything, and they've destroyed it all. Character after character, from Luke Skywalker, Han, to Obi-Wan Kenobi, to Anakin, and of course then they also did it with Ahsoka, and what do they have left now? What do they have left? What's kind of weird, right? Mandalorian and Grogu is on the horizon. They ruined that as well through the TV show. I think that's going to be absolutely dead on arrival. We will see, but this brand is so, like, if the Darth Maul show proves anything, this brand really is dead. And so I really think Mandalorian Grogu is going to bomb so drastically, and I have no hopes of it being a good film. You know, there is one Star Wars property that I am mildly interested in, and it has like no relation to anything, and that might be why I'm kind of interested in it. Have you heard of Starfighter? Is that what they're calling it?
I don't think so.
There's a Star Wars movie in the works. Let me look at this. Star Wars Starfighter. And do you know who's attached to this film?
I'm afraid to ask.
Well, you might be flipping surprised.
Is it Pedro Pascal?
Ryan Gosling is attached to this film. It's like he's going to be the main character, like main actor in Star Wars Starfighter. And I really like Ryan Gosling. He was so good in Project Hail Mary. That might actually boost this. Hang on.
Really
that
good.
must be an AI trailer. I have not seen an official trailer. They're saying trailer. That's very likely AI.
Do they have an official trailer yet? Or
no, I've not seen an official trailer. But this is actually something like, maybe I'm just being so naive about this because it is Disney Star Wars still, and we should have no hope of anything Disney Star Wars being good at all. And so I guess I am being naive because part of me, right, I find appeal in this because so much of Star Wars in all the modern Star Wars stuff has all been Jedi. And it's like you can't divorce Jedi from Star Wars when if you look at the first film, most of Star Wars was space fighting, space fighters, starfighters, right? Jedi-ness had a very small part. Luke Skywalker was a pilot, an ace pilot, and the final battle was a spaceship battle. And as Star Wars has such great potential in that's kind of been forgotten at this point. And this film is supposedly embracing this aspect of Star Wars, which has such fun potential. And if they really lean into that, they could potentially make a great film. But then I reminded, it's Disney Star Wars. There's no hope.
Now, as a Star Wars expanded universe veteran of sorts, I will say this: my favorite books from that particular era of novel writing were the Star Wars X-Wings books by Michael Stackpole and Aaron Alston. And Michael Stackpole, his politics are a dumpster fire, but his military sci-fi credentials are legit. And I enjoyed those books immensely. If they took even a fraction of some of that energy from those books and put it into this, it would have some of that really good, that real Star Wars space fighter kind of energy. And Ryan Gosling, charming dude, coming off a lot of successes. He's kind of like the new Chris Pratt
right? This could really lift the
work.
Exposure of this film. And it's like, and oddly enough, out of all the Star Wars thing, it's the only one I have the most interest in, and it's not related to any previous established character or anything like that, because Disney has just milked them and mined them for everything, and then assassinated and destroyed those characters. And if Starfighter actually is successful and is not being attached to any of the characters, it really goes to show you didn't need to destroy the characters to make something half decent. But again, it's Disney Star Wars. What am I saying? Oh, I'm kidding myself. All right. I will still check it out. Like I said, I have more interest in this than other ones, but look at how much interest there is in the Darth Maul TV show. It's like,
that's Darth Maul. We're told everyone likes.
Yeah. But I mean, at this point, I like Ryan Gosling better than Darth Maul, so maybe he will draw people in. I don't know. But we will see. That is just funny, though. Oh, and man, I mean, and I kind of like how much of a failure this Darth Maul show is, because it's showing Disney you get what you deserve. This is what you did. Star Wars, one of the most profitable, popular brands in history. Look at what you did to this. Like if a show like this dropped, shortly after Disney acquired Star Wars, it would have been the biggest show on TV. The people would have showed up in swaths ready to just give me Star Wars. And the contrast where what it would have been compared to now is amazing, and Disney deserves it, because you have just desecrated this show with your DEI bullcrap. Oh my gosh. Ray, the girl boss, the Mary Sue Ray. Actually, she was less girl boss than she was Mary Sue, but holy crap. Oh my god.
It's mainly Mary Sue. Girl bosses kind of came later because they came with the attitude and the politics and stuff.
I agree. That's kind of why I reeled back the girl boss statement. But she is very much the Mary Sue archetype. Holy crap.
They all butted off of her like a sponge.
Speaking of Ray, did you see that comment that Daisy Ridley said not that long ago, where she said she did some stunts with some of the stunt guys, and the stunt guys were all giving each other high fives, but they didn't give her a high five, and she got her feelings butthurt about it. And I was just like, gee, guys didn't want to touch a woman in the middle of the Me Too era while filming a movie? I can't imagine that happening.
Yeah, you don't high five, you high five her sooner, and then boom, you're fired, right?
Yep.
So men can high five each other. That's pretty safe. But including a woman in anything is just a risk that isn't really all that necessary to take, not in the corporate world.
Pivoting topics. This topic might not be nearly as popular, but I want to talk about it because I like this topic. Anime! Anime is great! Okay. There's some news regarding anime. I think Glitdev is gonna like this one. But before we dive into it, gentlemen, what would be your favorite genre of anime at the moment?
I watch anime very sparingly, so I don't necessarily have a great genre. I may get attached to a specific series at certain points, but my favorite anime of all time is Code Geass. Although Frieren comes in a very close second, I've enjoyed watching that with my daughter.
Frieren is just phenomenal. For me, I'm starting to I am consuming more isekai anime for anything else. I don't know why. It's just fun.
I don't have much of a choice.
Well, there's so much of it. Holy crap. But isekai / fantasy anime is my favorite genre. And Litdev, we're going to be eating very good this year because it looks like 5 of some of the biggest isekai anime are getting additional seasons this year. And I'm like, okay, now, out of all these, right, I've watched 3 of them. So I've talked about Mushoku Tensei a couple of times. That's Jobless Reincarnation. That is such a weird anime, but also really good. It does some things really good. Let me rephrase it that way. And so there's a new season coming out. And out of any isekai anime, Mushoku Tensei embraces the isekai tropes, but then really takes them seriously and extends them to their ultimate kind of possible conclusions and how it would impact someone going through all this crazy stuff. Mushoku Tensei does that more significantly, more seriously, and better than any other isekai flat. It is this weird one, and that's why I think it's front and center, because amongst the anime community, it's also one of the most popular for how well it executes some of this stuff. It takes itself very seriously, Mushoku Tensei, and I was like, and I have to say, out of all these, the anime that hooked me so much where I just needed to keep watching the next episode was Mushoku Tensei. Because the narrative and story, and I'm not saying there isn't weird things in Mushoku Tensei. It does some stuff that is a bit weirder than a lot of other ones. So I was like, but I've also watched ReZero. It's not bad. ReZero isn't bad. I think it flounders here and there, but it's all right. I'll be on board of watching another season of ReZero. The one I'm probably actually most excited for, though, is Reincarnated as a sword. Have any of you guys watched Reincarnated as a sword?
I've seen that one advertised, but I haven't actually seen that one yet.
It's actually great. It's really charming. It is really charming. So much so, I'm actually re-watching the first season of Reincarnated Sword. And look, maybe there's a couple of dumb things that appeal to me more in Reincarnated as a Sword over other ones, because I love swords. And the idea that there is this magical, enchanted, sentient sword that communicates with its owner and develops a wholesome relationship with the owner, and then they have this kind of connection with their weapon and sword, appeals to me a lot. I love the idea where you have this almost, spiritual connection with your weapon. And the Japanese kind of, believe this for a while, where they believe the sword was the soul of the samurai and stuff like that. And we have it in Western mythology as well, like Excalibur and other things, where the sword, you have a bond with your sword, and it becomes really special to you. Well, Reincarnated as a Sword does that, but even more, because the person in it is literally like a conscious person who comes from our world and died and is literally reincarnated in it. And the wholesome aspect of it, his sword is eventually found by this young cat girl who's a slave, and she picks him up and uses it, and they create this bond. She frees herself and she becomes an adventurer with this sword. But a wholesome relationship grows out of this, where he becomes really protective of her and wants the best for her and is striving for her to achieve her dreams and for her to become stronger. And he basically sees her as her dad going into the future. And it becomes wholesome. And so Reincarnated as a Sword is actually really, really charming.
A lot of these anime are just pushing traditional roles. Like every single male protagonist is either trying to prove himself to be worthy of whatever girl he's with, or it's I want to protect this one person.
Mm-hmm. odd thing about Reincarnate as a Sword that I also like, it must be done by a different company outside of Crunchyroll, because the dub of, and yes, I watch dubs, sue me, okay? The cast of the dub is actually different to the cast that you usually see regurgitated a lot in the stuff that Crunchyroll gets their hands of. And not only is that, they actually do a really good job in the dub. The expressions and voices are fresh and different, and emotion and the way that they say the lines, actually really, really well done. And so I enjoy the dub in it as well. The other two I have not, look, the Saga of Tanya the Evil, I tried watching the first couple of episodes. I just couldn't get into it. Do you know if they...
Oh, yeah. I actually have the first season. It's actually pretty good. I don't think she's that evil because she hates communists. Like one of the most famous lines is like, they're communists. Let's pull the shit out of them.
That's winning me back. It's winning me back.
Let me see here. And
it's the whole thing is like it is an isekai because the main character is like this ruthless businessman from Japan who just loves firing people and stuff like that. But then he gets killed, and then he confronts God, not a goddess, but a god, actual God. But he's an atheist, so he's like, "You are not God. You are obviously being X or something." And so to get back at him, God reincarnates him in a world of strife and as a insignificant little girl. But with powers, and in order to actually activate these powers and everything, he is forced to pray to God. So in order to get the maximum power and to survive some fights, he has to actually give like a strong prayer to God to activate all these powers. It was actually pretty entertaining. It's pretty entertaining overall. Basically, it's like if World War I, but with magic, and Tanya the Evil is in charge of like the mage crew. That they fly around and they kind of like just they give the military backup. But what's funny is like during the climax of the first season, they fight like this commander. Is like I think his name is like Captain Sue or something like that. But afterwards, his daughter goes to avenge him. She enters the military to avenge him, and her name is Mary. So not only does she blow up communists, she literally fights Mary Sue.
It's winning me back. I couldn't
stuff,
get
right?
into the first episode, but if you're saying, all right, no, it gets better, all right.
She prays to God to get the power to smite communists. It's like this was made for me. How have I not heard of this before?
She also follows all the rules, technically speaking, so not to commit war crimes. So, but one time she goes, so before she starts attacking a town. He goes, we got and according to the law, we have to give a warning before we attack. So she gets the intercom and then goes to anime girl voice, like, "Oh, hi, we're about to attack you." And then no one believes her because it's like the cute little girl voice. Then, okay, I warned them, blow them up.
Lastly, there is that time I got reincarnated as a slime. That's, for some reason, that is one that I have just felt no desire to watch or get into, but it seems to be one of the...
didn't really like it very much.
Really? Okay, that's interesting because it's one of the more long-running ones and more well-known isekai ones because it's quick. Like instead of reincarnated as hero, literally reincarnated as a slime. But I have watched summaries of the seasons, and it just doesn't feel like I would enjoy it too much because the character at this point, the slime is able to take on human form fully. Like the person with blue hair, that's the main character, the slime character, and they can just take on human form and they become super OP. And so, like, I don't know, that one doesn't do it as much for me, and I haven't gotten into it as a result. So, ReZero, I mentioned that it's all right. ReZero, it kind of annoys me at times because it's desperate to try and come off as meaningful in some of the relationship stuff, but as a result, it kind of spouts nonsense about relationships and things, interactions that don't really feel earned at all, and the character just is too desperate to jump on some large statements about how he feels and stuff like that, and that's kind of annoying. But when it finally gets into the structure that, so the ReZero, he's reincarnated, and what happens is when he dies, he wakes up a couple of days earlier and has to relive that moment through to try and avoid his death or something like that. It's like he has a save state at different points in this world. And when he achieves something, it creates a new save state that if he dies, he returns to that state. that is actually a fun mechanic, and that's the thing that actually kept me on with ReZero, when they finally get back to that. And
pretty brutal. I'm watching it now. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
like just,
it does.
We got the Rem. Obviously, is like the best girl. Obviously, I mean, she got her body twisted into a pulp and stayed alive just to free him. That's dedication.
Yeah. But see, I'm not sure it was earned. Like the attachment didn't feel like, because they get really attached. I'm not sure it really did enough to justify it in the narrative. That's kind of one of my issues with it. I feel the relationship stuff is actually kind of weak with ReZero, but the actual mechanics, when it starts to deal with the threats and things, it's like, okay, I'm kind of okay. And I like that is not super OP. That he actually
he's underpowered.
He's underpowered compared
to every
to
situation.
Nearly everyone, and so he has to figure out tactics or mechanics or logics or getting the help of other characters to help him overcome these terrible things that are leading to his death and destruction. And that's fun. That's good. And because in so many of all these isekai that we're seeing here, the main characters become super friggin' OP, sometimes way too quickly. With Reincarnated as a Sword, they kind of avoid this sometimes because she becomes OP through the power of the sword. Every skill the sword gets, he gets to share with her. But then there are moments in which she loses the sword and becomes disarmed and has to rely on herself. And that's like an oh crap moment. And so, you know, something that's really cool. Look, there's dumb things that I love about Reincarnated as a Sword, which just tickles me and I enjoy. So it's a giant sword. It's a cool, friggin' awesome giant sword. I just love giant swords. And then because the sword gets magic and has skills, the sword itself gets the skills of levitate and telekinesis, and so it can move itself around in the world. And towards the end, she ends up riding the sword like a surfboard. And it's so cool. That's awesome. I love that.
Like the anime Reincarnated as a vending machine, where that kind of happens to some guy. He's a vending machine. Yeah. And the whole thing is he gains experience the more people buy from him. So he gets this one super strong girl finds him and is like, oh, I'm hungry. And here's a coin. And then he provides lunch. And then as he evolves, he can get more stuff. He can get more stuff in his inventory. He can turn into different kinds of vending machines. And the whole thing is that the reason why he was reincarnated as a vending machine because he happens to be he was a vending machine enthusiast from Japan. And so now, but he's not just selling things. Like he beats like a giant boss because he has all these vending machine things. It's pretty interesting. Like it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Because that sounds so weird, that one.
It's sometimes strange.
Anime pulls it off like.
That's one thing about anime that I really appreciate is they're willing to go in offbeat, wonky directions and do things that a lot of American animation is not willing to do or doesn't want to take the risk at doing. So I always appreciate that. But I mean, most of them do start as a manga first. I've always wanted to see that one. What was that one isekai? Hunting in Another World with My Fat Elf Wife or something like that.
Oh, that
was kind of funny when I read that.
There is just some so wacky stuff. So Lit Dev and I have already kind of talked about it. It's the Overly Cautious Hero.
That was actually pretty good. I didn't think it would end like that.
Pretty good and really quirky. Like that one is one of the more humorously consistent and funny ones. And like the goddess that is reincarnating this guy secretly has the hots for him, but he does not show any interest in her, and she constantly gets triggered by it and loses. It's hilarious. It's like that was actually surprisingly funny. I would love to see another season of Overly Cautious Hero. And then there are just other ones that are like weird and wacky. There's that one about this is not an isekai, it's a fantasy one, but it's about a an adventurers guild receptionist that she becomes an OP hero just so she can clock out on time. And one that was surprising and charming was earning 100,000 gold in another world for my retirement. That was actually.
Have you seen what was it?
Playing that game for a while here in real life.
Yeah.
Have you seen that the one called like middle-aged adventurers or 30-year-old adventurer? That's what it was. Or Osan and becomes adventure or something like that.
No, I don't know that one.
He's like he was a guild receptionist and then decides to go off to become an adventurer and then he goes off the train. But everyone's like, "Oh, you can't do it. You're 30."
Yeah, I noticed that in anime, they have weird views on age. Like if you're 28, if you're 30 years old, you're a grizzled old veteran.
You are done. Just get out of here. Because the thing happened with Kaiju something like Kaiju number 7 or something like that, where it's like, oh, you're 30? It's too late. You retire, old man.
It's all over, man.
So one that I've heard a lot of that I haven't watched is Ascendance of a Bookworm. Have you watched that one, Lit Dev?
I've not, but a friend of mine has, and he said it's really, really cool.
Yeah, people are saying that one is peak, and I'm like, nothing in the title attracted me to it. But a lot of people are saying it's really good. I was like, all right, I could give that one a go. But it's just interesting. Like right now, my go-to just relax TV viewing thing is anime at the moment, and I'm just really enjoying a lot of isekai because it's fantasy, like quirky scenarios, but some are unironically really good. And we're getting some new seasons, and I'm excited for it.
There's one just finished called Sentence to Be a Hero, which is actually pretty interesting. And
okay, I watched the first episode. It's like, okay, interesting.
Man, the ending was brutal. I was like, oh man, this sucks. But it's pretty hardcore. It's not sucks as in like it's bad storytelling. It's like I got to see season 2 because a character, something bad happens to a character I like, and I was like, oh man, I got to see what happens next. But it's pretty fun because it is ultimately speaking fantasy Suicide Squad. They even have the things around the neck that help lift their heads. If they misbehave.
Yeah, and those are the heroes, and the heroes are kind of looked down on in the world. Because I've watched the first episode, which was decent, but the dub hadn't caught up yet, so I had to pause. Because I'm a heathen and I watch dubs. Look, when I watch anime, I don't want to read a book. Okay.
Well, it's all dubbed. It's all dubbed now.
Yeah, and so that one I'll probably come back to.
Turns out the goddess, there is a goddess they had that kind of could isekai people. But that became troublesome because the culture clash. So they started isekaiing dead people, and then they just resurrected them when they got here. So that's why they have the power of resurrection now.
Yep, interesting. Anime, man, still pumping out some bangers. All right, pivoting topics. This one crossed my feed, and it's kind of in line with what we were talking about with Supergirl and her statements about, oh, it's really weird that guys want ownership over women's bodies, even though that's. People comment on the physical appearance of actors all the time, and men seem to cop it even more than women at times if they don't fit the role.
Some guys should just say, yeah, and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and. Well, another comment now I don't know how old this one is, but she's been making comments similar to like this for a while. Scarlett Johansson, which is really, really weird coming from her because she seemed to have been very happy to objectify herself to advance her career. And now she's making comments like, says it was socially acceptable for young actresses to be pulled apart for how they looked in the early 2000s. And she says it was tough. And it's like, hang on, actors get pulled apart for their appearance all the time. But at the same moment, Disparu has a pretty obvious thing to say, but it seems like Hollywood don't understand it. Disparu says, when I got a job because of how I looked, people would comment on how I looked. That's literally the point. It's
like, shocking.
As an actress, part of what you're selling and what you're trying to attract people is your, especially Scarlett Johansson, is their appearance. And
that's why you send in headshots and stuff.
Exactly. And your appearance is the very thing that sometimes will enable you to get certain roles, because there are characters that need to have actors that accurately reflect their appearance, and there are characters that are meant to be attractive and hot, and so therefore your attractiveness as an actor is going to be judged very aggressively to see if you fit the role, and then people will expect that look to be maintained for that character going in. And especially the Black Widow is meant to be hot, and so Scarlett Johansson suddenly put on massive amounts of weight, just didn't care about her appearance, and just lost the plot in that regard. Yeah, people would complain about that because she's acting in a role that is meant to be a product, okay? And that product needs to meet the expectations of the audience. If you don't like that about this role, don't do it. You're more than free to have walked away at any time, old Scarlet. But it seems like now she has an issue with it, when I've heard accounts of her being willing to objectify herself more than even the director's was. There was this one rom-com she was in. And now, take it with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty certain I heard this account. Double check it though. But in this rom-com, she was insisting and willing to do a nude scene, and the director was like, "No, that's not it. We don't need to." And she wanted to. I could be getting something wrong in context, but from memory, that's what she was doing. And it's like, it seems like she was willing to leverage her appearance to her benefit in the past, but now she's, aged a little bit more and she can't leverage it nearly as much. She seems to be talking about, how tough it was and how unfair it is. And it really comes off as you kind of pulling up the ladder behind you, Scarlett, because didn't you benefit off of selling your appearance in the past? Am I wrong? Did you guys see similar stuff like this from her?
I think every actress did this.
Yeah.
I mean, look, don't discount how much Me Too changed things when women kind of seized power in Hollywood during the Me Too movement. A lot of them, probably just like her, saw, I don't have to compete anymore. I can just say I'm a woman and I don't have to try anymore, and I don't have to compete with younger actresses for a lot of those roles that they need. The older they, and this has always been an issue at Hollywood. The older the women get, the more they are willing to throw them out the window, no matter how tenured they are. But aside from a select few, but she probably felt she was in a spot where she could benefit from not having to maintain whatever she needed to keep in that role, and then kind of got that fart huffing notion in her head that, hey, women deserve to be taken seriously, and we have things to say, and personality this and like a bunch of other stuff that was never in the picture when or why people were fans of you to begin with.
But not only that, like when that is literally the thing that you're selling, your appearance. Sorry, people don't care about your opinions on things. Like for models that are selling dresses and they're meant to look attractive and stuff like that, I don't think anyone really cares about their thoughts of the war in Iraq or something like that, right? It's like, no, that's not your job. Actors, it's not your job to be commenters on social, political events. Your job is to entertain. And so shut up and do your job. And especially if you're an actor that is benefiting from your appearance, okay? But I'm a real person. It's like, that's not the role or the job, and the character is not a real person. The character is a fake person, and you're meant to be able to the character. And sometimes those characters are only there to be eye candy, and that's not a bad thing if it serves the purpose of the product and the plot. Like models, they only exist to be eye candy to sell products. And one of the big appeals of the Black Widow was her attractiveness. Now, she has also a really cool rounded character, but there are other characters that aren't fleshed out, and they're just meant to be, eye candy for there. And if you don't want to be perceived that way, don't accept the role. But then they seem to try and complain, saying, it's unfair that I'm being judged on my appearance. And I'm like, hang on, do you know how many people would kill to have the looks that some of these Hollywood celebrities have, right? You have been given such a blessed hand, right? Like, Halo, the Halo effect is real, where people who are more attractive, honestly, get freebies and are treated more positively in nearly most interactions than people who are less attractive. Like, this is studied psychology, and the Halo effect is absolutely real. And so if you are blessed with tremendous good looks, it comes off as like ungrateful when you say, but it's really hard having these great looks because you're judged on them so much. And it's like, are you acknowledging all the freebies and benefits and the doors that have opened because of your attractiveness? Scarlett, sue me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you would have been cast as the Black Widow if so many people didn't think you were so attractive. Or if you just simply weren't that attractive. Like, is that an unfair thing to say? And so when you see people start complaining about it's really hard having this tremendous blessing, comes off as like, wow, very first world, problems there.
I mean, in the MCU, wasn't Chris Hemsworth cast because he looked like Thor?
right? Right?
And has to maintain a physique that's similar to that. All the male actors all go out of their way to maintain immaculate physiques. And look, just because they're men does not mean that they don't suffer for that particular thing as well. Because, guys, this physique is not natural to attain. No. This requires...
look at that Hugh Jackman physique. That's pretty insane.
A very strict
diet. And he's old at that point. Huge,
Yeah.
like this puts a toll on their bodies, and there is an expectation that these men live up to and achieve this look, this physicality, and it requires so much more work than a lot of female actresses that just need to gauge what they eat, stop eating so much, right? And then they get the look that they need, where guys have to put themselves through essential torture and then also inject themselves with unnatural substances which can affect their long-term kind of health and stuff like that. And I'm not endorsing that either, by the way, but they do it, and there's almost an expectation that they do it. And then people all complain about, the poor women because people judge them on their looks without acknowledging how much men are not only judged on their looks, but expected to put themselves through hell to achieve it. Let's forget about that and complain about, oh, it's so hard for being so attractive. It's like, it comes off a little tone deaf, in my opinion. But how actors, they love to try and make themselves the victim. We covered a couple of weeks ago that Rachel Zegler, how she was saying it was really hard, not having people that looked like her in mainstream media, when it's actually there were heaps of women, Latinos in mainstream media.
It's not that hard. It's
not that hard at all.
Why is this? What's so hard about? Oh yeah, this person is not Latino. Is it really that hard to look at them and stuff?
I know, right?
Normal people can connect with other people on a human level. No, not everyone needs for the person on screen to have the same skin tone or the same racial background as they do. It's just kind of weird. It's just a weird thing that kind of just popped up.
It really is. It really is. But it's because everyone loves to be a victim, and they get sympathy points. And I'm not saying that rich people don't go through difficult things. Absolutely, everyone goes through difficult things. Sometimes that are really hard. Sue me if I think you were pretending that there weren't people of the same ethnic background or look to you in media is not hard. Sue me if I don't think that's a hard thing. She probably has endured actual hard things, but still, she's so blessed beyond everything. Like, there are people who would die to have what Rachel Zegler has, the opportunities she was given, and the hand, the natural hand that she's given, where she has a great voice. And look, she's not ugly, absolutely. And so she gets to benefit off of the halo effect, right? Heaps of thousands, millions of people would kill to have what she was given to her in her life, to the point where seeing people complain where they have such blessings comes off tone deaf, and also puts you in the wrong mentality, because you can be going through really hard things, but if you look at history, look at people who were had to go through the bubonic plague and horrifying war that destroyed their lives. Our lives are so tremendously blessed in contrast to some of the true hardships people have faced. And I look at myself, right? There's crap I have to deal with. Got health issues, other concerns. There's always stuff that are difficult I have to deal with, right? But at the same time, I can look at my life and say, holy crap, I have such a blessed life that so many people would kill for. And I'm very, very grateful for it. And it refocuses you in a perspective of gratitude. And that helps you get through the tough times so much more. And so that's the focus. And it's just as annoying when you see other people shift it entirely and complain about things that it's like not really that bad. Am I wrong? Sorry. Am I wrong to say it? I don't know. That's just me, I guess.
There's millionaires complaining.
Yeah, or reasonable people, I guess.
It's always nice to see a celebrity that has kind of that humility. It's why one reason I do like Chris Pratt. He seems like a very humble person, not just because he's a Christian, but you hear about where he was at before he got that Parks and Rec gig, and dude was basically his character. He was basically his almost out of his car practically, and it's hard to break out into that business, but there is something that kind of takes it. It's almost like it's an industry that wants a part of your soul somehow, and You have to do something skeevy in some way that nobody sees, and you don't want it to get out, just in order to be part of it. I kind of wish it operated more on a bit of a meritocracy than what it does, because you could burn down Hollywood tomorrow, and I got to be honest, I wouldn't miss any of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, so I just it is always nice to see someone that is down from earth and does not forget where they come.
Oh yeah, I really love it when you see humble celebrities that are just grateful. Keanu Reeves, legend, right? And even Tom Cruise has been on a bit of a redemption arc for just being grateful for his fans and the people who watch his movies. Like showing gratitude is a very good look, especially for people who are like on top of the world as celebrities with all this adoration, stuff like that. Be grateful for what you have, because you have a life that many people would die for, right? And so when you see them complain or become activists and they lecture others and stuff like that, it comes off very tone deaf. This one is interesting. So this is a kind of related, kind of not. And I don't know how much traction we'll get out of it, but I still saw it across my feed, and just Hollywood celebrities, man. I like some of the worst ones just keep failing upward. Even though, look, maybe we'll see how much, I guess, success they'll have in their career in the future. But this came across my feed where in 2026, Olivia Award winners Rachel Zegler, Papa Esidu, like that, he was a black actor for something. Is that
he's Black Snape.
It's Black Snape. There we go.
Yeah, he's Black Snape.
So and Rosamund Pike take home prizes. Rosamund Pike, was she the director of that failed feminist film recently? That the Bride. Let me look her up.
That was Leadenhall.
Oh, Leadenhall. Yeah. Okay. So, Rosamund Pike, isn't she the one that played Moraine in The Wheel of Time? Let me double check. Yes, she was. Wheel of Time, that did great, didn't it? Everyone loves the Wheel of Time TV show adaptation. I hate it with a burning passion.
Isn't it canceled now?
Yes.
Yeah, thank God.
Friggin' goodness.
Its fans are still butthurt over that too.
Yes, we are.
Didn't they? I didn't make it past season 1. I didn't even make it to the end of season 1, to be truth be told. But didn't they do something that, like, they just kept adding? Basically, they turned Moraine into the main character of the show instead of the actual main character, Rand.
Dragon Reborn Rand. The abomination atrocities that they did to the Wheel of Time stories and everything to wokeify it is like the Dragon Reborn, all prophesied to be a man. In the show, it could be a man or a woman. Wheel of Time, in the books, the magic has a distinct divide in the gender. There are 2 types of magic for men and women. In the adaptation, let's never refer to that at all. In the books, the 3 main characters are 3 men, male characters. In the adaptation, they're all cucked, pushed to the side, and they're pathetically weak, and they elevate all the female characters and make it a feminist wet dream, Moraine being the main character. I hate that adaptation with a burning passion, because I love the books so much. All the series, read them, gone through them, audiobooks, multiple times, right? And Rosamund Pike, who played Moraine, okay, she's getting awards now. Rachel Zegler, I'd like to know what awards these are for, but Disparu on point says the 3 horsemen of destroyed adaptations all got awards. I see what you're saying there, Disparu.
Chad, I'm going to paraphrase a phrase that I've used for years from Michael Landon in Marty Feldman's lost comedy classic, the last remake of Beau Geste. Awards are like hemorrhoids. Sooner or later, every asshole gets one.
It makes me wonder why they're getting awards, because now look, Papa Esridu, we will see if his franchise tanks as well. But we've already covered it on this live stream, and there might be a video of that on Night's Watch. Is that the Harry Potter live action TV show adaptation is not looking good. So it's not looking hopeful on the horizon, but maybe we'll do good. We'll see. But Rosamund Pike and Rachel Zegler. How good did Snow White do for you there, Rachel Zegler?
Not good.
Didn't do very well.
What an abysmal movie too. It was awful.
It was so bad. Has Rachel Zegler been in any film since? Maybe
I haven't seen her in any.
I haven't seen her in anything. Nothing
No,
big.
she kind of. Last I heard, she kind of went back to Broadway, and I think she kind of got quiet. Probably behind the scenes, kind of got blacklisted from Hollywood. Just being associated with that disastrous Snow White movie and being the most toxic person in the news cycle about that movie probably didn't help. And surprisingly enough, though, one of the other people, the second biggest loser from that entire Snow White debacle was Peter Dinklage, who wasn't even in the movie. If you guys look around, there's and you talk to anybody or see any clips from people in the dwarf community, specifically like comedian Brad Williams, or I can't remember his name, the guy that was the wrestler named Hornswoggle. Brother, they hate that man with a passion for what he did to cost dwarf actors roles in that movie. Dinklage is
they're
kind of an outcast in his own community because he pulled the stepladder up behind him.
Yep. He was happy to occupy roles that were specifically made for little people. And then he criticized that Disney, was having little people going to be depicting the dwarves in Snow White, that there was something problematic about it. And so Disney decided to axe them or make them CGI or anything like that, costing other people of the same condition potential high-paying gigs and roles. And they got pissed so much with
They're still mad about him.
Rightly
They're still
so.
mad at him. I don't know that he's ever addressed it or apologized for it, but that animosity is still there with a passion. I hope that he never ends up actually running, waddling up to them.
Now, in regards to these actors and even writers and directors that are attached to properties that have bombed drastically, seem to be getting awards. There seems to be like this split in the minds of the woke Hollywood, ideological bubble, because I get the impression, tell me if I'm wrong, that nearly everyone within the Hollywood woke bubble loved all the comments Rachel was saying. All the comments attacking Trump, criticizing men and, and all that stuff and all that crap that she was saying, that seems to be fully in line with their activism. But the fans and just normal people despise it. And it helped damage the properties that these actors have been attached to. I think Snow White would have been a disaster anyway, but all of Rachel Zegler's comments made it worse. Much, much worse. And even though I feel like, and the fact that she's getting awards kind of feel to me subjectively kind of confirms this notion that I think people in Hollywood probably still love her, but they are afraid to cast her in stuff because they might see her as box office poison now because she's so despised by regular people for how much of an insufferable, ungrateful, know-it-all lecturing holier than thou person she is. It goes deep. Like the crap she has said is wild and so entitled and ungrateful. Like we thought Brie Larson was bad, then Rachel Zegler came along and she was so bad that everyone now looks more kindly on Brie Larson, saying maybe we judged you too harshly.
Because Brie Larson humbled herself. Like she's like this, not really saying that much. Just kind of like she learned her lesson, I think, just to be humble. I looked it up for Rachel Zegler, and there hasn't really been much. Like last thing she did was Snow White, and then she might be getting one called "She Gets It From Me," but that's about it.
Yeah, and so even though they might be getting awards, I think the people that track the flow of money can see that some of these people I will see. It'll be interesting to see what Rosamund Pike does in the future. Maybe she has done things, but I haven't seen anything big or significant because Wheel of Time was a disaster. It was a disaster.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily, and I'll give this one of the few points. I don't think she was what was wrong with Wheel.
Right? I would agree with that. She did a good job with what she was given. And she hasn't said anything really horrible that's across my feed. Maybe she has, but not that I have actually seen. And so, hey, maybe there's still something that she could, do that will be successful, and she could do a good job because she's a good actress. She's a legitimate good actress, Rosamund Pike. As to, is it Papa Eswidu, the guy who's playing Snape? Yeah, it's hard for me to see that being successful. Like as good if imagine he's a perfect actor, he will still not feel like Snape to me. And especially doesn't because they put him in like tracksuits and a zipper, man. It's just
wasn't Ncuti Gatwa, heralded as a great actor before he took the role of Doctor Who, and then what did he do? What did he do with that role? What did he bring to that besides cry and be gay?
that one tanked as well. So if they kind of get what they deserve, stop being an activist, but also sometimes there's good actors. So yeah, it is what it is. Hollywood will continue to be Hollywood. That's kind of my takeaway from that. Here's a fun one. Well, guys, have any of you watched Kraven? Did any of you watch like Kraven the Hunter?
Oh no, I was like Kraven.
No. Yeah, Kraven the Hunter. So it was such a non-entity. Most of us forgot it existed. I forgot it existed until this hit my feed because I've not watched it either. Like it looks so bad. So Kraven the Hunter was one of the Spider-Man spin-off movies that Sony was pushing out. Same with the
Spider-Man thing. I didn't even know that.
It was such a bad idea. Yeah,
Kraven the Hunter is a Spider-Man. Did you not know that? Is it a classic Spider-Man villain? Kraven.
I don't know anything about Spider-Man really. I know Spider-Man has spider powers.
And Spider-Man.
They were trying to create a cinematic universe with just Spider-Man's villains for some reason, without Spider-Man actually in them.
All right. Sorry to interrupt, but Litdev has got me on a thing. Litdev, if you want an actual brilliant entry point to Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, you can get the omnibus, right? This right here, okay? Because the reason what Ultimate Spider-Man is, the whole Ultimate series is a reboot of the Marvel universe, modernizing a lot of the characters. And so as a result, they revisit many of the classic Spider-Man early arcs. And so you'll see him fight Dr. Octopus, Black Cat, and all that stuff. But it remains very true to the core Spider-Man stories. What are you laughing at there, John?
I'm sorry. I remember this. There's a scene in Ultimate Spider-Man where Black Cat finds out how old he is after she's been crushing on him for a while. And she's so sick, she literally throws up in his
It's good. It's really good. Ultimate Spider-Man, the first parts of the series is actually peak. And if you need an entry point to Spider-Man, 100% recommend Ultimate Spider-Man because Kraven the Hunter is also goes through all the classic villains, but in a more concise, faster kind of arc. So it's pretty snappy with how it handles things, but it is true Spider-Man to the core. It is really, really good. Some of the characters, like Green Goblin, like his powers are different in the Ultimate Universe to the classic Spider-Man, where in the Ultimate Universe he actually mutates into a monster, a goblin-like monster who can like throw fireballs and stuff. And so there's distinct differences in some of the adaptations. But it's so classic because like Norman Osborn is still such a great villain in it. And look, I know the Ultimate Universe goes a bit off the rails, but most of Ultimate Spider-Man is peak. Full recommendation for it. Sorry, you got me sidetracked, Lidev. You got me really sidetracked on that. Because Kraven the Hunter, back to Kraven the Hunter, the movie that came out that no one saw, basically, being hyperbolic, but I didn't watch it. No one here watched it.
I'd never heard of Kraven the Hunter. I was like, okay, what? So he's a Spider-Man villain, and they made a movie about him?
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
Like a pretty decent Spider-Man villain. He's like a big game hunter who takes it super seriously, and hunts them down like an animal himself, almost to the extent becoming like an apex predator of sorts. And there have been times he's been a great Spider-Man villain because he viewed Spider-Man as prey in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah. And so he's a significant villain. And it was just one of those characters, like, it was dumb to make a whole movie around it as well from the offset. And so it's in the same vein as Venom, Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter. Sony owns the Spider-Man IP, and they were looking for ways to milk it as much as they could, and they decided to make a Kraven the Hunter film. And look, the actor, I like the actor who played him. So one of the first things I saw him in was Kick-Ass, but he also is like he played Quicksilver in Avengers, and man, some other roles like train. There's a train movie he's in that he did really good in, and it has Brad Pitt in it. I forget the name of it.
Bullet Train.
Bullet Train. Yes, he was in Bullet Train. Great in Bullet Train, man. I forget his name, but he's actually become a really cool actor that I appreciate a lot of his roles. He was in the movie The King with Chris Pine, The Outlaw King. Sorry, The Outlaw King, and
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor, thank you.
Why did I think it was Jake Gyllenhaal?
Oh, this is Black.
This is it. This is it. He's going in for the kiss.
So Peter Parker falls for Black Cat in return because she's been crushing on him, and then she's like, "Well, how old are you?"
How old are you?
This is great.
Out he's 15, and she had no idea.
This is so good.
Oh, that's one of the most cucked Peter Parker images ever. Look at that bottom panel.
This is the response it should be, but in modern Hollywood, like modern Hollywood standards, she would have jumped on a young man without any hesitation.
And she's throwing up because she has actually kissed him as Spider-Man before this point. This is just the first point where he took his hood off, and she got to see what his real face looked like.
That's peak, because that should be the honest reaction of any reasonable adult, right? It's like, you're only 15. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So big recommendation for Ultimate Spider-Man. All right, so that's the preamble about Kraven. What crossed my feed for the first time, I think I saw the trailer, and that's it. That is it. I've never seen anything from the movie Kraven the Hunter, and then this appeared, and I was like, wow. Like, because the thing that I saw someone comment on is like, they saw this and they couldn't tell if it was AI or not. Watch it, and I might have to pause it and things because of copyright things. But this is Kraven the Hunter fighting. Oh, you don't need audio because it's mainly visual. So, like, I kind of see their point. This looks really AI. Do you guys think it looks really AI? Like,
it looks really CGI to me.
Well, that's kind of what AI is looking like. But look, that one. If I saw this clip right here, it's such bad CGI. I've seen
kind of looks like
better. Yeah, I've seen better AI than this. This looks like
the crack
bad
on his
AI.
arm when it comes up. Watch the crack on his arm suddenly appear when it comes up.
Where is it? I can't see.
Well, if you go real slow, like it's not there, and then all of a sudden it is.
Gosh. So, wow. Like, this is where the whole debate of like, will you be able to make anything good with AI or not? Well, I mean, when you see Hollywood make crap as bad as this, I'm like, yeah, maybe AI could make something decent. That is, because like, what? This is really looking bad. And part of me doesn't know why it's looking so bad, but I guess it looks all fake. This looks like everything is either in the volume or on green screen or CGI'd, that nothing in this looks real. Like, look at this. Maybe they put him in a costume, but the costume just, I don't know, looks really fake. I've seen...
and not for nothing, Shad, like Rhino is one of those comic book characters whose translation to this big screen is not really ever going to go really well. You know, because in the comics, it is just a big dude in a gray Rhino outfit. And I don't know how you translate that and it doesn't look goofy.
That is hard. And look, I actually don't mind what they're kind of going on with here, making it look really thick Rhino hide and stuff like that. But I guess when you have that one, that doesn't even look like prosthetic. That looks like CGI now. But the previous one actually looked like more prosthetics, right? And when you have prosthetics like this, the way that to ground it right, I really think you need it in a real world set. Like when you have obvious CGI green screen or something like that in the background with something that was already on the line of the uncanny valley, it just ruins it completely and it makes it all look fake. You need something to ground it more. Because I think of the Thing in the old Fantastic Four films, right? He was all prosthetic and stuff, but everything else was on a real set. And so it kind of grounded it. Even though it wasn't the best Thing adaptation. But this one, you know, like everything else is looking so fake.
The phrase that I've used myself a lot when it comes to the whole CGI versus practical effects thing is that CGI moves real but feels fake. Practical effects look fake but feel real.
Yes, I think generally yes, but there are exceptions when CGI just, there are some amazing CGI that they really pull it off. And I think one of the best examples of practical effects that look really, really real is the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings films. The models that they made, they were so detailed and large that they decided not to call them miniatures because they were so big, and they called them bigatures instead. And like Rivendell, the scenes that we see of Rivendell, that's a model, right? And it looks friggin' amazing. Looks really, really good. And that's also one of the reasons why those films hold up so well. There's still good, there's a lot of CGI, but holy crap, that Balrog still holds up, man. Still really, really good. But then we get, and that's like, consider the contrast. Consider Lord of the Rings, which was made how many years ago now? Are we
20,
on like
quite a few.
25 now.
Years? Whoa, I feel old, man.
That can't be. Like, 2009 was just 3 years ago, right?
Right.
Yeah, I was a kid when those things came out.
Isn't that sad? Like a movie, 20-year-old movie looks orders of magnitude better than the slop that we're getting these days. This looks horrible. That does not look real. That looks like, but I'm guessing it's a guy in a prosthetic, but everything else looks fake around everything. Wow, Kraven the Hunter looks like complete garbage. No wonder no one watched it.
Well, right? The box office certainly reflected that too. Again, like nobody really wanted a bunch of Spider-Man villain movies without Spider-Man in them. Venom had some legs because Venom was a very, very popular character in the 90s, villain. But you know, Sony at this point, I think they could just start doing their own Spider-Man movies without Marvel. Like, what is Marvel really doing for them besides just giving them a little cut of some Spider? Oh, that's right. We have a Spider-Man movie coming out this year, don't we?
Yes, we do. And that one is tracking to probably do pretty well at the box office, honestly. This is more a Sony movie than it is a Disney movie, though there is tie-ins to the MCU. And so, yeah, Spider-Man is potentially still going well. Now, in regards to it being really dumb, making a whole movie based around a no-name character. Well, when I say no-name, he's popular in the franchise as a villain, but barely anyone knows of him outside of Lit Dev is proof of that. It's like, who's Kraven the Hunter, right? And so outside of the core fan base, not very well known. Only in rare circumstances are you able to make a no-name franchise or character into a really popular film, and the film has to be brilliant. And the example of it is Guardians of the Galaxy. Barely anyone knew Guardians of the Galaxy before it came out, but it was such a good film that actually, pulled it off.
I think that's been a big problem with the MCU is they've been trying to recreate that kind of success over and over again with a lot of like D-level characters. I mean, look at what they were trying to do with the Eternals, and that went nowhere and nobody liked it.
Yeah.
Even the actors themselves are kind of like gobsmacked at how badly it was received. I could have told you right off the get-go. I mean, shoot, now I didn't have any faith for Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, who, what, whatever. Yeah. And then I heard, oh, hey, it's actually really good. It's fantastic. I love the first movie. Second movie is a little underrated, I think. Third movie, no, not too bad. And then there's the fourth movie, which they titled Superman for some reason. I don't know what was up with that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Huh. So, I do find it interesting, though, that some of this Hollywood slop is so bad that it looks worse than AI. And it almost proves that there will be use to make decent AI media in the future.
They are worse than AI. I went over Wish, and I used AI to see if AI could do a better job. Like, hey, could you improve this a little bit here and there? And AI put together a way more cohesive story than what we got with Wish. So you might say like, oh, it was made by AI. Like, no, AI does a better job than what we got with some of these Disney movies.
More so than people realize. Like there is AI slop and crap that is no good. Don't get me wrong. I know that there is AI slop, but then there is stuff that and this is nothing serious. It's comedic, but you need to pay attention to the performance and the expressions. And it's not perfect, but it's getting so much better. This is a fake trailer someone made based off of the actor for Reacher. What's his name?
Alan Richardson.
Alan Richardson recent controversy where he got in that fight with the neighbor. By the way, his own video footage basically exonerated him. Then this guy went out of his way to cause this fight, this interaction, and walked in front of his trailer, causing Alan to like crash. Right?
I called that too. I called it before that video got released.
Well, we covered it on the Culture Crusade, and we distinctly said that there obviously there's more to this. What actually caused the interaction? We haven't seen it, and Alan could be justified in his reaction, and it turns out he was. Like, holy crap! But someone has made a trailer based on that, and holy crap! Like, just watch it, guys. This is.
I did see this.
Is the audio coming through?
And I admit there was a couple of points that made me laugh.
Right.
Hey guys. Is it cool if I send this to TMZ?
I'm a survivor.
This summer.
Now, the thing that should be concerning Hollywood with this is actually the performance, the expression of the characters, and the fidelity of how real this is. Look, guys, you might call it AI slop. This is better than Kraven the Hunter, right? And it looks better too.
New business is born.
Can they not see me?
From director Taylor Chin comes a movie like never before.
You know, just when I thought I'd heard all the John Cena "You Can't See Me" jokes, they always manage to pull one more out that still gets me.
Right. And like, this looks exactly like them.
Millions of neighborhoods in America.
And it gets their voice perfectly. Like,
you know what every one of them has? Tell me. Bullies.
Yeah, actually, look, bullies. Yeah.
I was like Jack Reacher. Next, he's a Jack Reacher.
Right. Alan's voice there actually did sound a little robot-y, so there is room for improvement. But it's gotten so much better.
Tell me. Bullies.
He destroyed my entire garden. He's such an asshole.
You know what's funny about this? This unironically could potentially make a fun comedic film. Like, I could potentially watch something like this.
At one point, the movie Badass, I think.
Right.
It was off after like an incident like this, and they made a whole movie about it.
So this is kind of funny.
I posted the video, and we received over 429,000 people requesting our bully protection services. What do you think? When do we start?
So. Oh, hang on. This part is a bit.
The best things in life are free.
Why is your shirt off? Marketing 101. Free attention, zero ad spend. And besides, the women love it.
Hi.
And what about him? Fuck it. Still counts.
It's pretty good.
That was actually funny.
That was funny. That was like. So I want to know who wrote this now. Was this AI written or a human wrote it and then used AI to depict it? Because that's human intent.
That feels like a human touch.
That feels like a human touch. That was funny, right?
DoorDash, bitch! Are you Dan the man? Yes, and who the fuck are you?
And let me get to all right, so they're going and sorting out the bullies, and then they come across the big bully.
I'm not sure how you plan to get rid of him.
Oh.
Be careful, he's really dangerous.
Now, can we also just comment on how realistic this looks? And again, compare it to Kraven the Hunter. This is, for AI, crazy. And I believe
lobster tattoo.
It's like this is like, damn.
It's got enough jank that I can tell, but it is getting close.
You know what? I only think because you know beforehand. If you knew nothing and just most people, and I do believe most people who did not know this AI and just if this came across their feed organically, they would look at this and probably think, "Oh, this is a new movie."
Boomers would be one. Boomers are already one-shotted. They have no conceptual filter for this kind of stuff. Hey, Mike.
Except for the acting is terrible.
Not well. Hang on. John Cena isn't the greatest actor to begin with, Mike. Like,
Cena.
No, but everyone, it's just like stilted, halting speech and stuff like that, and it's getting there, but I don't think it'll ever get like.
Well, when it is driven by
real
human
emotion.
behind the scenes, it's over. Because if you get a good actor being the actual foundation for it,
I watched this and I'm like, dude, I want to see this movie.
Yeah, right. It's funny. It's funny. And this part.
Hey, boys, can I help you?
And look, I get what you're saying. Like, there is some type of like toned downness to the overall expressions, but from what I'm looking at, this is such a quantum leap forward in what it has been like. Is I'm seeing like, holy crap, this is very close. This is very, very close.
Has anyone ever told you that you look exactly like Channing fucking Tatum?
Who's that?
You don't know who you look exactly like?
Bro, it's like we're really looking at Channing fucking Tatum.
I'm not Channing Tatum, bitch!
That's definitely better acting than I've seen from Channing Tatum in his last few movies.
I mean, that's what I'm kind of like. It's not perfect, but was Gal Gadot perfect, guys? What are we comparing it against here? Really?
Hello, no.
Hello, no. So I'm not saying it's the best, but when you compare it to Kraven the Hunter, it's like, I'm sorry, that was way better than Hollywood slop, right?
Did Kraven the Hunter come out?
Dude,
like a year and a half ago.
I came in with that's so funny.
We
were literally talking about how some people didn't even know it was a thing, and Litdev didn't even hear the character. Mike apparently didn't even know it was released.
I remember it was supposed to come out, but I never. Yeah,
that's how much of a nothing burger it was. We were laughing about Ultimate Spider-Man while you were gone too. Remember that panel where Black Cat pukes on him?
Oh yeah, we were sharing that. Because I'm trying to sell Litdev on the Ultimate Spider-Man comic books because I feel it's a great entry point to Spider-Man, and I love it. Love it. But all right, AI. I mean, I think in some ways it can't compete with the best of Hollywood and acting performance, but in other ways it kicks the crap out of Hollywood with the slop that they've been giving us.
Dude, watching that trailer totally made me want to take one of my stories, cast who I want in it, and make a trailer for the movie. I have a script. I have a few scripts, but like make a trailer for the movie with the cast that I want in it and just put it out there. Because if that made me want to see that movie, it's like, what if you could interest the actors you want in a movie by making a commercial that makes the audience and even the actors go, I want to see this movie. Maybe even go, I want to be in this movie.
I mean, imagine like if you made an AI trailer that got truly bonkers views, hundreds upon hundreds of millions, right? That would be enough attention to even make Hollywood go, oh, there might be something there. Like genuinely.
It worked for Deadpool.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. So yeah, look, you know me. I've always said that there are uses for AI going in the future, and I don't think you should use it as a complete replacement. But I think when used in conjunction with your actual artistic vision, it has the potential to make incredible stuff. And I'm on board with it. I'm excited for that type of stuff. There will be slop, but I think true artists will also latch onto it and use it and make some great stuff. And in comparison to Hollywood slop, which is better, you know?
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, we are reaching the end of another Culture Crusade. Appreciate you all. Let's catch up with the super chats. And so we have one from N-Thes Innings Fish. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name.
The Sinny Fish.
I'm considering making a backscabbard for my Kriegsmesser. Nice. Is your backscabbard wood and leather or just leather? A bit of both. The first one is just wood. The second one is mostly leather with kind of like a thin wood insert. But you can make it out of multiple materials. All you need to do is kind of follow that same concept, and it works really well. I have found the wood one works better because it holds its shape and therefore is able to guide the sword in a bit easier. And so I'm planning on trying to make another one in the future for one of my other swords. I'm going to make it out of thinner wood and maybe try and even put some leather over top. But we'll see. But man, yeah, they work. I approve. And good luck to you, sir. James App 4989, I think, for $5 says, if you are tired of slop, just watch the awesome movie Apollo 13. 56 years ago today. I've watched it a long time ago, but I remember watching it. Houston, we have a problem. Great movie, 10 out of 10. Yeah, man, that was like one of the early kind of forms of memes where people would repeat it. Houston, we've got a problem. That got into the zeitgeist of people's vernacular. And I have good memories from it. Good memories of the film. Zod Lander for 100 SEK says, if they change Voldemort to a woman, will they also change Professor Quirrell, or will they have Voldemort transition from female to male and back to female, or female Quirrell, maybe despite Rowling? Look, nothing's beyond them at this point.
That's my guess. Like maybe Voldemort is a guy, and then but when he reincarnates, in the Goblet of Fire, boom, transitions to a woman. That way, Voldemort can also be trans.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, they'd love to stick it to her like that.
Yeah. Nothing is beyond them at this point because they made Snape black, and that is absurd. That is bonkers. And if they're willing to do that, to break lore, canon, ruin story elements and everything just for their tick boxes, I wouldn't put anything past them at this point. Female Voldemort, go to town. Make Sirius black, do it. Do it all. And you deserve to have this adaptation burned to the ground because you're not prioritizing story or being faithful to the material now. You have an agenda. We can see it. I've lost all faith in it. Hot Grapes Comics for $10 says, greetings, friends. My graphic novel, Blight and Beauties Part 1 is finally done. Well done. Well done, mate. Now I'm searching for an affordable publisher and rebuilding my X account. Would love some support. I might give it a look, okay? It needs to be good. And in terms of searching for an affordable publisher, do you reckon that's even worthwhile nowadays, Mike, trying to find a traditional publisher for graphic novels? Because
it depends on the publisher and depends on their reach.
Yeah, if you get it, if they have faith in it, but I don't have faith in publishers nowadays.
Yeah, if you're going through Image, you're automatically going to get a certain number of sales, at least for your first issue.
Okay.
If you're doing a graphic novel, I don't, maybe, but like if you're doing a series, then at the very least, your first issue will come out. It'll go out there, and if it's well received, then by issue 4, your numbers should start coming back up. And long term, it'll work if it's good. But
and if they pick it up, but look, mate, the very best.
Every comic shop will pick up a number 1 issue from Image.
Okay, cool. Well, there's no guarantee you'll be able to get that. Hopefully, like all the success. I wish you all the success of the world. Best of luck to you, mate. And I'll try and give it a look. Alrighty, we are up to date on the super chats. Thank you, everyone that's joined us for another Culture Crusade. And every time we come to an end of one of these streams, I just think like the world is a bit crazy, isn't it? There's just
a little bit.
We live in interesting times.
But there, look, hey, I enjoyed. One of my favorite. Look, I don't care if it like my favorite segment of this one is talking about anime and the Isekai anime because there's good stuff out there still, and I like talking about some stuff I'm enjoying and that's still good. And there's nothing really good released at the moment. The last good thing that I'm enjoying, apart from anime, right? It's probably Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Right now, I'm suffering, and I mean suffering through. Daredevil, Born Again, and The Boys. Holy
crap. Oh no, is it bad?
It's horrible, man. Anyway, you can hear us talk about that on FNT. Thank you for everyone joining us. We appreciate you all. We'll see you next time on the Culture Crusade. And as always, stay on watch.